Fine. Gu Changa said, "It's good that you're fine, your majesty, no need to be polite. It's what I should do." Shi Jiao focused on the male lead, thinking suspiciously, his breathing is stable, no irregularities, and there are no signs on him. What is this about fighting for hundreds of rounds? Also, if the night demon really fled, how could Gu Changa be so relaxed and boasting? But how did he manage to kill the night demon so easily? Although the Gu family is stronger than the demon realm, Gu Changa is merely a quasi-supreme being. The geniuses around them started shouting, "Your Majesty, your safety this time was truly thanks to young Master Changa. We thank him for driving away the night demon." The male lead just smiled slightly and thought, "Night demon? Jun Bufan. Just a pawn." The 6 great demon emperors suddenly disappeared, and I am more interested in their secrets. According to the information provided by the deceased at their last moments. Is it time to advance or attempt to infiltrate the immortal realm? Jun Bufan's face darkened as he thought, damn it, even with the Xianyang heavenly blade in hand, the night demon still lost. I can only continue hiding and wait for another opportunity. Gu Changa continued, by the way. About this rebellion, does the queen have a handle on the situation? The people around were also discussing, yeah. Who exactly poisoned the queen's wine? Shi Jiao turned and looked behind, speaking meaningfully, it was my own foolish arrogance that led to betrayal by those around me. From now on, wait for it, this kind of thing will never happen again. Suddenly, Qingzhu ran out and knelt, shouting, "Your Majesty, kill me." It was Qingzhu who hurt. The palace. Maids nearby gasped and said, "Qingzhu, you. Lady Qingzhu, how could this be? How could this happen?" Qingzhu sobbed and continued, "Qingzhu shouldn't have poisoned your food." Shi Jiao furrowed her brows and turned, saying, 700 years ago, you were just a regular bamboo stalk, almost eaten by a demon bull. It was I who saved you and brought you back to the palace for training. I ask myself, I've not treated you poorly, what exactly do you have to say for yourself? Qingzhu clenched her hands tightly and replied, "Kill me, your majesty." I can't say it. Shi Jiao shouted angrily, "Foolish." The palace maids anxiously said, "Qingzhu, at this point, do you still want to hide it? What are you thinking?" Shi Jiao coldly said, "If that's the case, take her away for interrogation." Gu Changa thought, soft-hearted? A queen can't afford to be soft-hearted. Then he stepped forward and said, "Sigh. After all, she's just a little girl, it might be too cruel to use torture. Let's interrogate her soul instead." Qingzhu turned pale when she heard this. The people around shouted, "Yes. Interrogate her soul. If she doesn't want to speak, then interrogate her soul." Jun Bufan, upon hearing this, was burning with rage and thought, "Gu Changa, you." Suddenly, Qingzhu, terrified, shouted, "Your Majesty, I'll speak. I'll speak." Actually, it was the night demon who contacted me and made me cooperate with him. But just as she was speaking, suddenly her body shattered into pieces, her body continuously melting away. Gu Changa said, "It seems the mastermind has already made thorough preparations." Shi Jiao said, "Yes. Just like the other captured traitors." Immediately after, Qingzhu's body began to disintegrate more violently. She stared blankly in a certain direction. She stretched out her arm, trying to reach for her distant lover, thinking to herself, how did this happen? Fan. Seeing this, Ji Yao couldn't help but sigh. The male lead stood beside her and said, "Although Qingzhu is dead, we can still follow the clues to investigate further. I believe Her Majesty will soon find the mastermind behind this." Jun Bufan gritted his teeth and thought, "Qingzhu, I will not let your sacrifice be in vain." The scene shifted to a late-night location. Steam filled the bathroom, and smoke swirled in the air. Gu Luan was sitting, tasting wine, occasionally picking up a chicken leg. Through the curtain, his dinner. Was Ji Yao taking a bath? She spoke up, "If I had rejected you then, I wouldn't be here now, would I?" Gu Changa smiled and asked, "What do you mean, Your Majesty. Ji Yao replied, if I didn't agree to you, the demon world should have held my funeral by now, right? The male lead calmly responded, Your Majesty worries too much. There are no such what-ifs in this world. Besides, I think this matter wasn't important from the start, it was a mutual decision. Ji Yao sat naked and asked, sometimes I wonder, are you really only 20 years old? The more I get to know you, the stranger I feel. If you were from the demon world, I'd even suspect you're Jun Bufan reincarnated, purposely trying to trap me. Gu Changde couldn't help but laugh, ha ha ha, I didn't expect your Majesty's imagination to be so rich. Then the young man thought to himself, well, trapping you, that's possible. Ji Yao slowly stood up and said, there's nothing I can do, since you're not a good person to begin with. And I've never felt any emotion from you. A person like you, do I really deserve to entrust my heart to? The male lead retorted, why wouldn't you? After saying that, the young man immediately wrapped his arm around Ji Yao's waist. He then quickly pulled her into his arms. Ji Yao panicked and shouted, you're so bold. Gu Changde leaned his lips close to hers and replied, not just bold, I also want to be mischievous. Suddenly, loud shouts from the guards outside were heard, Your Majesty, the list of everyone who had contact with Qingzhou has been compiled. The two instantly froze their movements. After a while, the scene shifted, and Gu Changde quietly returned to the room. As soon as he entered, Jiang Leshen was lazily sitting there, saying, ah, the hero of the demon world is back. Doesn't the queen want to keep you for a night? No wonder you look so down. Gu Changde silently walked over and said, as a maid, shouldn't you hurry to make tea and serve water when your master returns? What are you still doing here? After speaking, the young man gently kicked the chair. As a result, Jiang Leshen was knocked to the floor, and the water cup splashed onto his face, instantly freezing his expression. Ji Yao returned to the room to check the list. She said in confusion, Jun Fan, Song Ziwei, La Tian, Yi Gung, the daughter of the Grand Tutor, and the son of the king are all on the list. Without concrete evidence, investigating carelessly might involve many people. Ji Yao then began to recall the suspicious moments at the banquet. At that time, Gu Changde had walked up to Jun Fan and said, congratulations on taking first place, Jun Bufan. She thought to herself, Gu Changde, did he intentionally call it wrong, or is there a deeper meaning? Then Ji Yao shouted loudly, issue the order. The scene transitions to the Pingluan 5 mansion, where someone says, young master, all the tribes and creatures outside are supporting the Western demon. They have come looking for us. If this operation fails, you must be careful. Jun Bufan angrily slammed his hand on the table and said, the Western demon has indeed spent a lot of effort over the years to win people's hearts. I can't believe so many are willing to support them. But at that time, I bravely defeated the enemy, so I should have earned some merit. I shouldn't be suspected. It's just that Uncle Yi hasn't reported back yet, which means he's severely injured and probably receiving treatment somewhere. Father once said someone would come to deliver something to me. I wonder when that will be. Maybe that's my chance to turn things around. The scene transitions to a street in the city, where someone shouts loudly, here's the snake herb. Tianlang snake herb. 1. Sniff and your soul will be confused, 2 sniffs and you'll faint. It's selling well, selling well. Come and have a look. It turns out that Bai Lianer and her brother are disguised as medicine vendors here selling herbs. Tai Chu whispered, sister Lianer, we've been selling herbs here for 5 days. Can we go in now? Bai Lianer calmly replied, wait. Qing Shan just had an incident, and the Western demon will definitely increase surveillance. We can't raise suspicion right now. Suddenly, cheers come from afar, hey. Look, young Master Changgu is here. It's really young Master Changgu. I had the honor of seeing him at the Tianjiao banquet that day. Quick, make way. Don't block young Master Changji's path. He's the benefactor of our demon realm. Seeing this, Tai Chu anxiously asked, what should we do, Sister Lianer? Why did Changgu suddenly appear here? Bai Lianer pondered for a moment and answered, he's probably here to investigate Ping Wan Wan mansion. It has nothing to do with us. Tai Chu still said fearfully, but he's walking towards us. Bai Lianer transmitted a message and said, what? We must act indifferent. Don't look at him, don't show any expression. Chang Gu hasn't noticed us yet. As long as we control our breathing, plus the jade pendant left by father, he shouldn't recognize us. In the end, Chang Gu really walked up to Bai Lianer and her brother. But suddenly, the young man stopped in front of the stall, scaring Tai Chu so much that he nearly wet his pants. Chang Gu glanced down and scanned them, his gaze full of oppressive force. Thanks to the guidance system, Chang Gu immediately recognized that these two were disguised. Looking at them, it was really laughable. Ha ha. Bai Lianer forced a smile and said, hello, sir. Tai Chu appeared more professional, and the young man immediately pointed to the ginseng in front of him and said, You should look at these herbs, report that these herbs aren't worth much. If you need them, just take them. Chang Gu smiled and asked, take them? We just met, why would I take them? Bai Lianer cleverly smiled and said, who in the demon realm doesn't know that young Master Chang Gu just saved Queen Xiao from danger? You're our great benefactor. These small herbs, how could we dare take your money? The young master sat down and picked up the herbs, saying, all right, I can't just take your herbs for free. Take me to the place where you gather herbs, and I'll pay you 100 times the reward. Bai Lianer responded, young Master Chang Gu, you're too polite. It's just that our family. But before she could finish, Chang Gu stared at her fiercely and said, what? Is it not enough? Seeing the two subordinates nearby looking like butchers, Bai Lianer trembled and replied, if the master wants to go there, we will lead the way. Chang Gu smiled gently and said, then it's settled, but first take me to another place. Transition. After a while, Chang Gu took the two of them to the Ping Wan Wang mansion. Ping Wan Tianwang quickly greeted, young Master Chang Gu has arrived, what an honor. Please come with me. Chang Gu replied, no need to be so formal, Ping Wan Tianwang. People nearby began to discuss, that's young Master Chang Gu. He really has extraordinary bearing. A woman in green said with infatuation, Xiao Fan, I really regret not attending the Tianjiao banquet. How can there be such a perfect person in this world? Just following him, even as a concubine, would be worth it. Before she could finish, Jun Bufan jumped out and said, sister, I advise you to give up early. He definitely doesn't care about you. The woman in green angrily shouted, what a jerk. Is there something wrong with me? You poor thing. Jun Bufan stood there, confused, thinking, damn, why is he here? In the front, Gu Chang'e spoke, I came here today because of Shi Jiao's matter. Tian Wang of Pingwan said. In surprise, oh. Is it about Her Majesty the Queen? Tai Chu transmitted a voice from behind, Sister Lien. I didn't expect we've already entered. We can take this opportunity to hand her the silk pouch. Bai Lian Ni was focused on observing Jun Bufan, while he thought, Shi Jiao, sounds really intimate. Gu Chang'e continued, actually, the mastermind behind this incident, I believe Tian Wang of Pingwan already knows. Tian Dao Xianyang has reappeared, and 6,000 years ago, Xianyang Demon Emperor's son should have died in his tomb, but now there's no trace of him. Tian Wang of Pingwan replied, I also suspect this. Night Demon was once a general under Xianyang Demon Emperor, unless he's a descendant of Xianyang, no one else could command him. Gu Chang'e smiled and said, that's why Shi Jiao especially searched the demon world and finally found the place where Jun Bufan is most likely hiding. Tian Wang of Pingwan asked in surprise, really? Jun Bufan, hearing this, grinned wickedly and thought, hiding place. Gu Chang'e, am I not right in front of you? Can't you see me? What a fool, thinking he's a rooster, but he's just a young rice seedling, huh? Gu Chang'e turned his head and asked, the demon emperor Xianyang had 2 children, a son and a daughter. 6,000 years ago, Jun Bufan faked his death, and his sister Tianwang of Pingluan pondered for a while and said, Jun Ruoshi. Though she didn't participate in that great war back then, she later established a forbidden ground in the demon world and never touched the queen. For thousands of years, no one dared approach it. Gu Chang'e said, so, Shi Jiao suspects that Jun Bufan might be hiding in that forbidden ground now. Tianwang of Pingluan said in confusion, then what does the queen mean? Gu Chang'e replied, this time at the top of Qingshan, Jun Bufan not only won first place but also performed excellently in rescuing the queen. As a result, Shi Jiao spoke highly of him, thinking he would become the pillar of the demon world in the future. So, it was decided that Tianwang of Pingluan and Jun Bufan's son would lead the troops to destroy Jun Ruoshi. If they can capture Jun Bufan, that would be best, if not, they can capture Jun Ruoshi. Jun Bufan, hearing this from afar, was shocked. I didn't expect that guy, Gu Chang'e, to be so insidious. Tianwang of Pingluan believed it, thinking it was true. He gratefully clasped his hands and said, Xiaofan has gained Her Majesty's favor at this age. Thanks to Her Majesty's grace, my son and I will not disappoint Her Majesty. Then he turned and loudly shouted, Xiaofan, what are you still standing there for? Come here and receive your orders. Jun Bufan clenched his fists tightly, gritting his teeth and thinking, trying to use Jun Ruoshi to force me to show myself. All these years, I haven't gone to find my sister to avoid dragging her into this. But now they want us to fight each other. Shi Jiao definitely didn't expect this move. Gu Chang'e, you bastard. One day, I will tear you into 1,000 pieces, and you'll never be able to reincarnate. Bai Lian and I stood there observing everything, her heart also turbulent. After a while, Gu Chang'e walked out and said, these are all the matters Shi Jiao assigned. I won't stay for long. Tianwang of Pingluan replied, Gu Chang'e, please be careful on your way. Transition to Gu Chang'e's residence. The maid Jiang Leshan was sleeping soundly on the bed, with 2 full grapes resting on the stone table, looking like 2 buns. Suddenly, she heard someone say, Sir, didn't you say you were going to gather herbs? This is. Seeing Gu Chang'e return, Jiang Leshan hurriedly hid in a corner. Gu Chang'e revealed a charming smile and asked, what's wrong? Did I make you uncomfortable by being here? Bai Lian and I nervously replied, Sir, you must be mistaken. We were just afraid that the clothes of the herbal seller would dirty you. Gu Chang'e smiled and said, then change back into ordinary clothes. Who are you disguising yourselves as? Bai Lian and I calmly asked, may I ask what you mean? Gu Chang'e glanced at her and said, it seems you plan to keep playing dumb, Bai Lian and I. Bai Lian and I, caught in her plan, couldn't help but blurt out, please forgive me for my ignorance, As she was speaking, she suddenly realized something was wrong, and a powerful aura erupted, shocking her. It turned out that Gu Chang'e released a huge hand and grabbed Tai Chu. The young man shouted, cough. Sister Lian, save me. Gu Chang'e continued, it's fine. After I kill him, you should understand. Bai Lian and I turned and said, let him go, or the things you want will certainly never be obtained. Gu Chang'e replied, that depends on your sincerity. Right now, you remind me of an old acquaintance, truly repulsive. Bai Lianer stood there in deep thought for a long time. Then she began to circulate her energy to break the torn robe, revealing her firm legs. This woman looked elegant, truly worthy of Gu Chang'e's attention. She said expressionlessly, I didn't expect that Gu Chang'e, despite his fame, is just a shallow person. Gu Chang'e said, it looks much better. The method to change your appearance at will can even fool high-level figures. It seems that the legacy of the killing emperor has indeed fallen into your hands. Bai Lianer asked, is this your goal? Gu Chang'e smiled faintly and replied, I can release your junior brother and your father, and also make the demon realm stop chasing him. The condition is. Bai Lianer asked, do you want that brocade pouch? Gu Changa replied, actually, I'm more interested in you.